So I'm Erin Thomas. I'm the District Career Ed Coordinator. Part of my many hats, I guess, I have a lot of hats this year. One of the ones that I was asked to present on today is the MyBluePrint Education Planner for grades 7 to 12, probably more specifically the grade 7 rollout. I think it's been in our district since Lee was the principal of Skills, Trades and Careers, whatever it was called back 2015, 2016, somewhere in there. Mostly used for grades 10 at that point. We've incorporated it into grade 11 and 12 with Career Life Connections, 12A and B. It's used in grade 8 and 9 Career Ed. And then this year we're working on the rollout for grade 7 into grade 12. The link at the bottom on all the slides, I remembered. It's not my number, but it's the way to get any staff in the district, any student in the district from grade 6 and up has access to the account. So you can, and family, there is a family link as well connected. So that's our main entry point, the /ST57, so that students can select their school from there. There's lots of tools and activities within the program. I would love to show it to you. It makes more sense if I walk you through it, but in terms of time, not tonight. But shoot me an email and we can do a Teams meeting, or I can come and walk you through everything. But there's portfolio links, which is great for communicating student learning, collecting evidence from grade 6 all the way up through to their capstone in grade 12. Who Am I, which are surveys and aptitude kind of surveys, really. They've used them all the way through. The kids really like it. They like finding out about themselves. And then we've also this year incorporated it into some Psychology 12 classes to compare with some of the course material that they're learning there as well. Goals is part of the Career Ed curriculum, setting SMART goals, looking at their budget. They really like, when I've gone into grade 7 classes, they like, what are you saving up for? Okay, it's a, a trip to the movies this weekend. Okay, so then they put in the expenses and we add income. So just very basic budget. There is the post-secondary links where they can research, students can research and look up any program across Canada that's related to what they're interested in going into, as well as apprenticeships and work. And we look also at occupations, which shows any jobs and titles, job titles that they're interested in as well. They can build a resume and cover letter within it, and there's an up-to-the-minute job search. And then high school and pathway planner. So we're linked to MyEd. There's an upload. So starting in grade 10, when their courses count for graduation, their transcripts are not transcripts, sorry, their courses are automatically uploaded into their high school planner. And I know in other districts, they use this as a means of pathway eligibility planning. So they can see, you can plan what they should take in grade 11 and then see how that will open up opportunities for them or plan for grade 12. So that might be a tool for the future. And then talking about the family links. Some of the information from the rollout. So this year, it started as grade 7, but most of our classes in the district are grade 6, 7s. So we're working to open up the access for grade 6s in those grade 6, 7 classrooms, so you don't have to split the rollout that way. I've been emailing all the teachers that have had their classes go through the Office 365 setup. So one thing about MyBluePrint, the students will self-enroll themselves with an email account. And if you read the Google or the Gmail rules, it says you have to be 13. So that kind of leaves out most of our 6, 7s. So it's really nice that we have Office 365 and the student accounts through that. So the students get their student.st57.bc.ca email, and then they use that as their username in MyBluePrint, and they've got a formula for their passwords, which is good because I have a 13-year-old. We don't remember things very well, so it's nice that they have it as across the board. And then just following it around for Pro-D sessions and learning opportunities throughout the year. And then for secondary support, it's been supported by the in-school career coordinators, like linking me to classes that side of career ed that might be interested and useful, like Psych 12 or Digital Literacy 8, working with the grad coaches. So the next meeting I'll go into, and we'll kind of roll that out, or I'll do one-on-one kind of introductions to the program that way. And then just kind of building that cross-curricular use, as well as the idea for building into grade 7s is that wellness piece. So the wellness direction, but the transition from school to school and grade to grade, but also it's just listed as a strategy under the learning direction. So it kind of plays off of both. With that, it would be nice to have the grade 8 teachers, staff, IEWs, youth care workers, everyone at that end of it get to know their new students better, right? So students coming into grade 8 can show off their portfolios, or it's another connection piece from one school to another. So it's kind of building into the future. So some successes have been the teachers quoting up at the top. So that they just want their students to have all the tools they need to succeed in grade 8, and it's a great resource. Last week I went into a class at Malaspina. They'd finished their career research project before I got there, and they went, "Where were you like 3 months ago?" Right? So it would have been good to have it because it's a vetted resource for all of that career information. The students are engaged, teachers see the possibilities. It's a way to individualize learning, a way to kind of work through pathway eligibility, and kind of working towards what if we drop Chem 11, what does that mean at the secondary level, setting goals and measurable tasks, and then seeing that transition to the next school, and then also bridging that gap, that gray area out of high school into the world of career life. The challenges, it'd be great, but we need more tech. I hear it across the board. I haven't presented in one classroom the same way twice. There's different setups for presentations. The students have different setups for access. A school like Heather Park with 561 students has 2 desktop labs and a mobile lab. And there's so much coming that's digital resource based that everybody wants to do it. But it's hard when you have to share the time and plan that. We're planning about 2 weeks in advance for me to come in just to reserve the mobile labs or reserve that. And then, of course, if the class before doesn't plug them in, like a couple of weeks ago, we're down 9 computers, and it's an individualized resource, so we had to share time. So it's just a bit of planning, but like anything, right? It'd be great if there was more. And I think I've just been rolling with the high absences and kind of going back. So moving forward, again, that grade 8 piece, I've been managing a team. It's a public team on 365 for all of the information, supporting exploring student pathways out of high school, talking about different MyBluePrint products for communicating student learning, and building capacity in teacher champions. So it's just been me for a while. And so it's great. Yeah, high five, right? On the side is an idea that I built up as a portfolio activity that teachers may or may not choose to do, but it just gives a range of ways to use MyBluePrint to set up an end of year grade 7 or grade 6 reflection. So I talk faster than Doug, but I'm ready for questions.
Thank you, Erin. Any questions? Comments? Trustee Warrington?
Yes, thank you. Thank you, Chair. Erin, this looks like a very, very useful tool. Once again, I have questions that I probably wouldn't have time to have you answer them, but I think given the fact that looking at the challenges, we need, if this is an issue for classrooms to be able to access these programs, it sounds like we need to be doing something more to make sure that computers and laptops are available. Do they need to be available at all times? Like for a teacher to actually use this program, they would need to have their full class involved with computers. Is that, or when you go in to help the teachers understand the program, could you explain that a bit to me?
So it's when the program is needed, that's when they would need the laptop. So if they're doing the career research project, or they're doing the pathway eligibility, or working on their portfolio, it would be ideal if we're building portfolios and we're building digital evidence and collecting, right? Because they can share their portfolio with a link to family outside of the school district. It just links directly to their portfolio. We had that device to take a picture of that assignment, or that kind of thing. So, and then I know, just because I piggyback after Office 365's rollout, and I know that's gone down to like grade 4 through 7 in some schools. And the tech available with that, like the speech to text and text to speech, and working with OneDrive, I can see that being used a lot more as well. So
It sounds like a lot of innovation is going on, and a lot of different learning is happening in our schools, and I applaud that work. I think you've got a great process going. I like the idea of the way you've set up a little bit of a model there to simplify how it could work and how it could look. Because when teachers first start these programs with students, it's nice to have that more simplified model in front of them. Thank you.
thank you.
Any other questions for Erin? One follow-up? Sure, Trustee Warren.
Just one more comment, because we're learning more and more about what Office 365 can do for us. And I think that learning is, we all could benefit from how Office 365 can make a difference. So thank you for giving us another look at how Office 365 can be useful in our schools and to advance learning. Thanks. Because we did have a presentation on Office 365 at the last EPPC, and we were all saying, wow, how could we learn to use this better? So it is a learning journey we're on.
Yeah.
So thank you.
Yeah. My grade 4 daughter just got introduced to it, and I was working on my master's, and she came to me and said, Mom, you can do speech to text if you have 365. And I'm like, I'm good, but thanks. But she was making sure I knew that it was there if needed. Thank you.
And when you think of how many students do struggle with text and being able to speak, wow, that opens doors to a lot of vulnerable learners that may be challenged otherwise. And that might lead something to some of the things you were talking about, Doug, that how do we close those gaps? What kind of tools do we use to make it learning more and more accessible to students? So I thank you.
Thank you so much. Yeah, and indeed, I know the presentation on 365 really opened the eyes of a lot of people at our last meeting, in particular trustees who can benefit it as well too. So we're certainly on a learning journey as trustees with Office 365. So
and I
thank
can
you.
meet you at
Yeah.
CTC and go through MyBluePrint program after you have the.
There you go. Wow.
There's some really nice tables out by
Okay.
by the trade.
Okay, you've issued the challenge.
There you go. Awesome. Thank you.
Thank you.